Hi, I'm Freya. Welcome back to my AuthorTube channel. This video is going to be my March wrap-up reflections yapping session. So strap in, get a cozy drink or a cold drink, I don't know, whatever drink preference you want. And I'm going to talk for the next few minutes about my March writing life. I do want to start this video off with a quick note. I know I have talked in previous videos about how I am currently querying my second novel, The Go-Between Girl, which is a kind of historical fiction, alternate history of the kind of Roe versus Wade decision, and it follows a girl named Harriet who's just coming out of college and gets involved in an organization that's delivering underground abortions. So yeah, that novel, I'm still querying it. I'm still in the process. Things are still happening. But I've decided not to talk about the kind of nitty-gritty of querying until I'm done with querying. So I'll do a big reflection video when I decide to either I have an outcome where I can stop, or I decide to call it and move on from querying. And I'm kind of doing that just because of I think it'll be better for my mental health. Querying is a hard thing to do, and I think it's difficult enough, like living with the day-to-day of it and kind of having these emails come through and kind of not wanting them to derail you, whatever you're doing that day, and kind of send you into a spiral, or make you ecstatically happy and feel like the whole world is your oyster. It's hard to like deal with the roller coaster of that enough without having to like talk about it in the moment. So that's just a quick note on if you are coming here from a previous video and wondering why I wasn't talking about querying. So I will now start talking about writing my third novel, which is a first draft I started, I believe it was either November or December. For some reason I'm thinking it was December of last year. And the current state is, I'm not really sure how long this novel will end up being, but I think I'm a good chunk of the way through, maybe 2/3, maybe a little bit less than that. The draft is currently sitting at 43,000 words, and I think the book will end up being on the shorter side. I always kind of, the big question of this project for me when I started it was whether I would have enough kind of material to make a book, whether it could sustain for that length of time. And an update on that is that I am feeling like I have kind of turned a corner with my my doubts about that. The current mindset is that it will be enough to sustain a book, based on where I am in the draft currently and what I have left still to write. So I'm feeling really positive about that and really hopeful, but that is liable to change at any moment. And sometimes you come out of like a writing session, you just have a day where the draft doesn't interest you as much, and you kind of feel a little bit less positive. So that's a movable feast. what else can I say? Last month, March, was a 10,000 word writing month for me. I ended up at 10,578 words, which is a fairly good month for me. It is kind of on a little bit more than February. So kind of on par to a little bit more, not a lot more, but we will take the wins where we can kind of get them. And that 10,000 words was done in 630 minutes. So those are the stats if you were curious about the stats. And now I'm gonna just talk more generally, I think, about the progress of the novel in 1 second. Okay, so my anxiety with this book, High Quality Man, which is my third novel, has moved on from being will I have enough material to kind of make a book, to being, am I building to a climax? Am I increasing the tension in a satisfying way? I kind of noticed that, like, the last few chapters I've written, I kind of felt like in the midpoint, I kind of went back to this kind of lull. It feels like a lull in activity to me, in the novel overall. And that kind of worries me because obviously your novel needs to have stakes and kind of drive in that way. So if I get analytical with it, I'm like, is this chapter building towards that point in a satisfying way? Am I building the tension, the momentum of the story? And I think that kind of comes from the fact that I'm not writing like a quest narrative. It is essentially just about relationships and kind of everyday lives. So this novel is a kind of delving into the manosphere. So kind of looking at the way it kind of shapes young men's lives, and kind of through the eyes of someone who podcasts for it. But yeah, I'm still working on the refined kind of pitch of the story. And obviously I haven't written the ending yet, so it doesn't have to have a kind of centered pitch at this stage. It just has to keep taking small little plodding steps towards being a completed draft. That is the primary goal at this stage. So yeah, that is kind of my writing reflections, and obviously I'm not talking about querying. So last month I think I talked about querying, and that made the video longer. What else can I tell you about? So in terms of reading, I think I read 10 books last month. And currently I am reading this for some fun, light fluff. Yeah, I really like the movie. To me is Chef's Kiss beautiful. So I just kind of felt like I should, see if the book is better. So yeah, that is my current read. I'm gonna pause here and see if I can come up with some other things I want to tell you about before I wrap this video up. Okay, so that is pretty much everything I can think to talk about in my March wrap-up. Feels crazy to me that it's April, but yeah, so I guess let me know how your March month went in terms of writing. Let me know if there are other things you want to hear about in these wrap-up videos. I kind of think it'll be nice when I have a few of them to look back on. This is only the second one I've made, so I'm still kind of figuring them out in terms of what I want to say each month and kind of all of that. But yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know how the week's going in terms of your writing, reading, life stuff. Yeah, thank you for watching this.